and welcome to Lea County Pod. I'm Jack Campbell, your facilitator producer. Pete Melidnik is our host today. And Pete, would you please introduce our guest today?
Thank you, Jack. We are here with Brian Baiza, who is a native of Hobbs and is now elsewhere, and we're eager to find out where that elsewhere is and what he's up to, and all kinds of good things, Brian.
Absolutely. Good to be on the podcast, guys.
So where are you now?
So I currently have relocated to Corpus Cristi. I am studying abroad over here. I am currently going to school for radiology tech.
So how long have you been in Corpus Cristi?
I moved out here in June of last year.
Oh, so you've been there for a little while, huh? Yeah.
A little bit, yes, sir.
Had you ever lived anywhere else other than Hobbs before moving to Corpus Christi?
I'm born and raised in Hobbs, New Mexico.
I thought so. Yes, and we miss you, I might add. But
I definitely do miss it down there a little bit.
Now, forgive my ignorance. I've never been to Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi is on the Gulf, is it?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, which could be the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America. We're waiting to see.
Whichever one we want to call it, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because I myself am attracted to oceanscapes, and they're in my past. Maybe will be in the future. But have you been able to spend much time at the Gulf there, or in the water, by the water, on the water?
Definitely when it is a little bit warmer outside. Currently, we're going through a little bit of a cold front, but no, absolutely. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous out here. I love spending time out on the beach, especially with my girlfriend out here. We absolutely love spending time out there. It's beautiful.
We're trying to increase our volume a little bit. Did that help, Jack?
As much as we can.
Yeah, you might take up surfing even.
the waves are so big out here.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But so where you are, is it the university, state school for radiology?
So I'm currently at Texas A&M, Corpus Christi.
Oh, okay. Which is probably the biggest school in the area, right?
100%. I currently switching majors right now. I am switching to the radiology tech, so that's what I'm applied in this spring semester. Beforehand, I was going for chiropractic.
Yeah. Any particular reason for that switch?
You know, Pete, I really was doing some thinking, and as I inspired to be a chiropractic one day, right? It just didn't make much sense for me going to school for about 7 to 8 years, coming out only, getting a return of $70,000 a year after going to school for so long and getting a doctorate and coming out with so much debt. So I kind of switched career paths, and I'm on the road to finishing in about 2 to 3 semesters, and I'll come out making probably 6 figures being a radiology tech.
To follow up with that sort of line of questioning, once you have got your degree, where do you see yourself landing? Where do you see yourself going to after you get your degree? Are you thinking about going to a highly urban area, or are you thinking about maybe a mid-sized town, or even coming back to Lea County? What have you thought that far ahead?
So as much as I love Lee County, I plan on moving somewhere elsewhere. I plan on moving to Dallas, Texas, hopefully
Okay.
here soon in the near future. That's kind of where I want to finish up my studies, is up in Dallas, Texas. I got a lot of family out there as well. So I just think it's a really great location to relocate at, where I got a bunch of family that's going to be close to me. And I just love the area out there.
So, give us sort of an idea about your day-to-day right now as a student and as someone who's living on the Gulf Coast. What drives you? What do you grab a hold of and run with outside of your studies?
Outside of my studies, I mean, I love working out. That's something that brings me kind of back to earth. I do work full time as a full time college student, so working kind of takes up a little bit of my time. But outside of that, I love to go and work out, focus a little bit more on myself, and then living on the Gulf of Mexico, you can't not go to the beach. So I love to go to the beach every second I can.
So, what? Again, I'm sort of poking here. Pete will take over here in a little bit, but the people there. Can you tell us a little bit about your friends? No, you're coming from the oil field essentially, going to really a totally different environment in terms of culture. And I mean, I've been to Corpus on a couple of occasions, and I find it a fascinating place to be at. So could you give us a little bit of rundown about how was it easy for you to make new contacts, new acquaintances? What's going on in that regard?
So it was a little bit of a struggle, Jack. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, right? Being born and raised in New Mexico, it definitely was a little bit tough to branch out and adventure out. But I always told even my parents, when I move out, I definitely want to go far. Not only just for myself, I just love meeting new people, and the people out here, they are very different from Lea County people. And I would just say that the change, it was a little difficult at first, but once I got the grasp on it, you start to realize, a lot of people from Corpus are kind of like the people from Hobbs in the Lea County area, just because, we're, as Lea County is, an oil and gas industry out there. Corpus is actually a very big place for refinery, gas, and oil as well. So you kind of get a good mix of kind of what Lea County was, but definitely a new area, and definitely a big change as far as environment, right? It's very humid over here, very hot all the time. It's not always cold. People always like to joke around here and say, we always have 1 week of winter down here, which they're not lying. It's always just super hot, super beautiful. But the people are absolutely amazing. Once you really start to get to know them, they are just full of kind hearts, warm welcomes. And I've actually made quite a few friends out here.
And how long will you be there again, Brian? How long do you expect to be there?
I'm hopefully to make that move near this summertime. So hopefully I'll be here till hopefully the summertime. If not, I actually might stay another year here. Just because, again, I've made so many friendships. It's a very good environment to be around, great people, and just learning so much out here.
And you transferred. Well, you were trying to think of what the term was. Had dual enrollment with high school and college here in Hobbs. So you transferred in a sense from New Mexico Junior College here in Hobbs to what must be a very large school.
Absolutely. It definitely was scary at first, you know. First time I stepped on campus, I was a little bit nervous, you know. It's a way bigger campus than the junior college, I can tell you that. But again, just super nice people, super friendly. And I'm one to throw myself out there, Pete. You know, I love meeting new people. I love asking questions. And that just really what got me going and really liking the area is just interacting with the people and seeing what's out there because grew up in New Mexico my whole life. I pretty much say I know everyone in the town, right? So I just love meeting the new people out here.
Is it a matter because of the university there, so in such a big university, that there are a lot of, or do you meet a lot of people who, like yourself, are from someplace else? They're not natives of, uh, what is it, South Texas or the region where Corpus? Do you meet a lot of people from different places?
So I've definitely met a handful of people from different places, but surprisingly, there's a lot of people that come from the South Texas area, so that kind of already know the the environment and the people already. Just coming from like smaller cities down to Corpus to come study. So I wouldn't say there's a whole bunch of people coming from far away, other than the overseas people that are coming over from Colombia, India. We have a lot of those students coming over from overseas.
Yeah, but a different culture really from what we have here in the Southwest. I don't know regionally if what Corpus Christi and that part of Texas would be called, but a
It
different,
uh, it definitely is a change for sure.
yeah. Um, and I met each other at the core here in Hobbs, which is really one of the better things to have happened in Hobbs during my 30 plus years of living here. What about, I know that exercise facilities and resources are important to you. Um, what about a gym or something of that nature there? Have you found something that you are very comfortable with? Something comparable to the core or a little different?
So it's more of a corporate gym. It's called Crunch Fitness. I actually live right across the street from there, and that's actually where I've met a lot of my fellow friends that I hang out around nowadays. Is actually from the gym. It's not like the core in any sense. They do host classes like how the core does, like fitness classes, Zumba, hot yoga, cycling classes. But other than that, it's really just kind of more of a gym environment instead of, all in one, a pool, a turf area, a basketball courts, and a gym all in one. It's just more or less kind of a gym to go and work on.
And it's a private gym, Brian?
It's not a private gym; it's a corporate gym, so anyone can sign up, and there's a bunch of Crunch Fitnesses all over the entire U.S.
Okay. And did you mention, does it have a swimming pool?
So I was referring to the core, right? Again, like the Crunch Fitness, it's purely just all the workout equipment. It's not like the core, how the core has the swimming pool, the turf, the basketball courts, and things like that, right? It's more
Yeah.
for just working out
So do I understand correctly that you live on campus or do you live off campus?
off campus.
You're off campus.
Yes, sir.
So how would you describe campus life at your institution?
It's very vibrant. To say the least. There's always something. Every time I step foot on campus, there's always something going on, and it just makes it feel so much more warm and welcoming for everyone to get together and to be there and just have fun, right? Um, it's definitely not a boring campus whatsoever. Um, there's just so much going on in different areas. There's so many different places to study. You just run into so many people that are so enjoyable and welcoming. It's just such an awesome campus. It's just very vibrant.
So how would you describe your overall educational experience thus far?
Thus far at the at A&M, it's absolutely amazing. It's just coming from the junior college, right? It's very much more, to say the least, more advanced in very multiple areas, especially the area that I'm in, that I'm studying. There's just so much more for it that it just blows the junior college out the water. The professors are amazing. They're always attentive. They are just super, super awesome when it comes to that sense. I just haven't found a wrong foot here. It's just always going forward.
And do you have many face-to-face classes there, Brian, as opposed to online, or a combination of both?
A good combination of both, Pete. I do work full time, so actually this semester I'm currently just doing online this semester, just to kind of make an easy transition into my new major, which I found it a lot more easier this semester. Right, as of last semester, I had a few in-person classes, but don't get me wrong, and those classes were absolutely amazing. The professors are full of energy. And they really just make the classes interesting instead of just going off a PowerPoint and they're just reading off a PowerPoint. They're just super fun. They use lots of examples to help the people understand.
And these were face-to-face classes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but all online for this semester.
Yes, all online for this semester.
What kind of work do you do, Brian? You mentioned you're working full-time.
Yes, I actually work in the supplement industry now. So I sell supplements.
Yeah, and you were doing something very similar here in Hobbs the last time we checked in with each other.
Right. And honestly, the place of work I used to work at, it made a real easy transition. Right. I barely got into the supplement industry right before I moved, and it actually made it a lot easier to transition to this new workplace and get a grasp of all the different products and everything, just to help out people in different areas and just learning everything.
We hated for you to leave the Corps because you were always so helpful, and you were I think it was obvious to me, and I think to others, that you were for lack of a better term, a people person, very outgoing personality, but you really, genuinely cared about what people were doing there at the Corps. And I know that you opened some doors, figuratively speaking, for me, as far as exercise and wellness, some of the challenging things that I've done, and just things that make me who I am today as far as being physically fit. And I'm sure you're missed at the Corps, I guess is what I'm saying. Maybe.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely do miss that place time to time, Pete. Man, I definitely miss seeing your face around there. I miss seeing everyone around there. That always will be a home for me. I definitely do miss it. And shoot, I even joke around with my girlfriend time to time. I'm like, we should just move back home and I'll just go back working to the Corps, just because it was just so enjoyable.
But you've got to consider everything, every aspect of your life. And it sounds like where you are right now is where you need to be, and feel comfortable, ready as you go forward. I'll tell you one little aside, the one guy who used to work there, Stefan, he joined the Marines.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I actually try to check up on my people from the Corps that still work there time to time. And that's news to me. So I'm actually very proud of him.
It
That's awesome.
it kind of surprised me, but in a sense, maybe he needed to be jolted or jolt himself into some significant change because I'm sure it's a significant change, especially
Right.
in basic training. Um, uh, uh, the way they do it with the Marines or any of those
Right.
branches, but good for him. So we'll see how that shapes up.
And that's always interesting to me because I think that's a really big jump for our friend Stefan, right? He, coming into that place, man, he's shy, nervous. Honestly, probably one of his first jobs too. He's a younger guy, I would say early 20s, right? And I'm just very proud of him to make that step and hearing that, man. That actually makes me feel very happy for him.
Yeah, and hopefully it will work out. I think I might have mentioned to him that they won't let you be using your cell phone in an unlimited way in basic.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I could guarantee, yeah. Um, but getting back to you, I'm sure there are some things that you miss about Hobbs and the people.
For sure. I mean, it's just every time I go back to Hobbs, it's always just like home to me. Like I said, almost everyone in that town that has born and raised there, they know each other. So every time I go back, it's just such a warm welcome, and it just makes me feel so happy because I see all the people I grew up with, my friends, my family. It's just so awesome to always go back. And I definitely do try to go back as frequent as possible. I think the last time I went back was around Christmas time to see my family, and that was just a beautiful time.
And when you go back periodically in the future too, um,
Mhm.
you'll see more and more changes in the place itself. As I've seen, I mean, I've been here for well before you were born, and I've seen so many changes in Hobbs, and there it's one constant, I think, change, changes in place as with people, and most of the time, those changes are for the better. Especially if they help the economy for us. But with your studies in radiology and thinking of places, when I think of radiology, I think of people who are employed in hospitals usually.
Mhm.
Is that what you expect to, when you have to be working in a hospital for a hospital?
So I really don't mind working in a hospital, right? Whenever I thought radiology before, I kind of knew what it was. I kind of thought hospital as well. Just any medical field, I was like, hospital, hospital. It's kind of what the brain goes to. But really, kind of getting more into it, there are radiologists that do work in the hospital. Um, and but a lot of them actually work outside of the hospital. It's actually its own little kind of branch away from the hospital nowadays, where you kind of go in, they get your x-rays, they get your MRIs, and then they send them off to the doctor. So it's kind of a separate building in a sense from the hospital. So again, there are radiologists that are still in the hospital and some that are outside of the hospital, and wherever I end up, I end up. I will always just take my blessings as is, because I'm just so eager to get into that career field. To me, it doesn't bother me where I'm at, long as I'm in that career field and I know that I'm making it. That will be what fulfills me.
I've had my share of not hospital visits, but doctor visits lately, and I'm happy to say that the people that I've come into contact with, from the secretarial staff to the nurses, the doctors, they've all been very positive, very pleasant to deal with. They've made me feel very comfortable. And, one thinks of especially a big hospital, like a big university, oh, one can get lost in the shuffle, the bureaucratic shuffle. But I think the last time I was at a hospital, I mean, it was just to see my nurse practitioner. I had a situation that I casually mentioned to somebody at the front desk, and that person left their work site, went out of the hospital, went into my motor vehicle to help me pair something with something there with the radio. I appreciated it so much. I mean, they didn't have to do that, and it's just a little example of somebody in the medical field going above and beyond. I didn't ask for that assistance, but it was offered, and it was a big help for me. And I can see you doing things like that too. Not necessarily leaving your work site, but whatever you're doing, you're dealing with people.
Absolutely.
I think especially in medicine, the health and sciences area, it's always good to not lose sight of that.
Absolutely. And I really think being in this field of work and what I'm doing now, I really just love helping people. And I think everyone should do a little bit more as far as just helping out, right? Everyone needs a helping hand at some point, right? I'm thankful to have friends and family around me, that if I need something, I can always go to them, right? Honestly, and that's kind of an example I kind of try to show and put out there, is if you're nice to others and you do things for others, it will repay you in a sense.
Well said. Yeah, and positivity gets positivity, something like that, too. Here again, I think of similarities between you and me. And I remember years ago, I transferred from a small school to a very big school, and I moved to I moved to a city of Minneapolis, Minnesota at the time. I didn't know a soul when I moved there, or I knew one person very, very minimally, and all of a sudden I had this whole new set of friends, and it wasn't on through a computer network because we didn't have computers back then, but there was face to face, and I became to where I felt pretty at home in the city, to the sense that the only reason I moved was to go to another school about 10 years later. And maybe for you, being in Corpus here, it sounds like you're adapting well to the city and making the most of it.
Absolutely. I try to make the most out of all my opportunities, out of everything. And, I think what's been working for me the most is, just trying to stay in my own lane, knowing what I'm going for, knowing what my plans are, and having those set goals and plans. That's actually what just keeps me pushing forward, right? And I always tell everyone, if you surround yourself by good people that have similar plans and goals, they will help you be successful as well. So I just try to surround myself with good people and just keep pushing forward, because again, a good group of people around you is always going to make things 10 times easier.
I can remember, well, I say when you were in high school, at the core, I always used to say to you, goals, Brian, goals. And yeah, it's really, they're so important to have goals, to focus on attaining those goals, and to realize too, as with going from chiropractic to radiology, those goals change because we change,
Right.
Constantly from the beginning to the end. But it sounds like you're pretty, if you don't let things distract you and people distract you, you'll attain those goals and have the satisfaction of doing that. And that's what it seems like you are up to these days at this time in your life.
Absolutely, right. I think in this world nowadays, Pete, a lot of people are scared of change. And that's one thing I always tell everyone, don't be scared of change, embrace it. That better things are to come. I was scared a little bit to change my degree because, Pete, I've been going to school for 3 years for chiropractics, man. This is a whole 180 for me. So it's really just here to embrace it and just go with it, right? Because I know what the end goal is. I know the outcome of it, and I'm just ready for it. I'm just so eager to go after it. And I think everyone should be about change, right? Change is not necessarily a bad thing. I always,
Yeah, maybe just to be aware, that
right.
we're changing animals, and it's, we can resist change, we can go with it, whatever. Not to get too philosophical and abstract. But what else here now? You're as we go into the spring. You're in the spring semester. Is it a quarter system, semester system down there, Texas A&M?
So I'm actually enrolled into only 2 classes this semester. Being in school for 3+ years now, I've been a full-time college student those 3+ years. So I took a little bit of a workload off of me to kind of help settle into this new degree plan. Um, but it's awesome, man. I mean, it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. I've put a lot of thought into it this last semester. Um, it's just a very good place to be.
This may seem like a sudden question or something, but other than exercise related things, do you have any other hobbies down there that take up some of your time?
I actually do some martial arts, Pete. So I do jujitsu. I actually am going to a class here later this evening at 7:30. I try to, just keep physical, do stuff that I love, that I know. Because Pete, growing up, I always played sports, and then I had devastating injuries that stopped that. So doing a sport that I love, and honestly, I don't even do it to compete. I just kind of do it for fun at this point, as a hobby, just something that I enjoy.
And something, once again, to keep you physically active as well. I
Absolutely.
did a virtual movie collection that keeps me as a couch potato, but I do get my exercise in. I had a goal. I wanted to lose some weight. I always would whine to you about it, and I lost that weight. The way I found to do it was, well, controlling what I eat and
Right.
balance with exercise, basically. Uh,
Mhm.
I did it, and now it's just the goal is to maintain. But
Abs- There's nothing wrong with maintaining, right? I'm in that stage of my life too, right? I got a lot of stuff going on. I just kind of want to maintain, be in a more of a health phase, and just be healthy. I just want to feel good. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? You don't always have to have a goal. Goals do make it easier, though, right? If we just want to be healthy, we want to maintain. What does that look like in your eyes? We always kind of go back to that question of what does a healthy body feel like and look like?
sure.
Okay, we're got about 2 minutes left before Zoom decides to kick us off. So you have 2 minutes. What is your message to the world? Let me throw that at you.
Message to the world, man. And like I was saying, more positivity in this world. I always see a lot of negativity. Some of the negativity floats on me at sometimes. Just be more positive. Embrace the good things in life. Don't focus so much on the negative. And another thing, and embrace change. Like how I was saying, change is definitely not a bad thing. Like I said, I'm 19 years old. I work full time. I go to college full time. I love to do things in my free time, And it's just about finding a healthy balance with your own life and keeping positive and having those goals and having those plans to keep pushing forward.
Right. Thank you so much for today, Brian. I think we'll go ahead and end it there. Pete, thank you so much for hosting this and for asking some very insightful questions. And we'll go ahead and thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and stop the recording.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much.